Go for it.
Good morning, everyone. It's the one and only V, the Grill Economist, coming to you live on another edition of the preeminent morning show, Mornings with V and CJ, where me and the dentist into the airways, CJ, break down the news, the information, the highlights, the economic data, and bring it to you in a fun and enlightening type of way. With that being said, guys, check us out on roguemoney.net. Also, check us out on the Rogue Money Facebook, as well as at the Rogue Money, which is on Twitter. You can follow us there. Also, guys, if you haven't done so already, and if you need some help, this is the season. The holidays are all over, and most people are straddled with debt. So check it out. If you have debt collectors calling you, you are annoyed and stressed out, check out my guys over at myfreedomnow.us. Myfreedomnow.us, the place to get your credit score fixed, get you to the place where you rightfully deserve. Hit the reset button on your financial life. Go to myfreedomnow.us. You got a bankruptcy, foreclosure, collectors calling you, whatever it is, myfreedomnow.us. With that being said, CJ, what's going on, bro?
Happy Monday, man. How you doing?
Happy Monday. Happy Monday indeed. We are back for another exciting week. We got a busy week ahead for Rogue. And man, we're back, dude. I just wish the weekend was longer.
If we could move to like a 3-day weekend cycle, that would
Oh,
be awesome.
speaking of 3-day weekends, I mean the kids are off from school today, are they not?
Yeah, yeah. We have a Martin Luther King Day today, so a lot of federal offices and schools are out today for that.
Yes. That's
Yeah,
right.
I think it's very interesting as we head into this week and the parting ways of Obama to think about how I think that MLK in terms of the movement, the civil liberties, and accomplishing what he did, that he would look at what's happened the past 8 years as almost a step in the wrong direction. B.
Oh, 1000%, man. I mean, this guy would we all know that Odumbo, what he has done in terms of creating the racial division that he did in this country is incredible. I mean, like I said, man, I said it so often. The 8 years of this guy felt like 16 years. This Friday, CJ, I'm going to be popping the corks on some of the cheapest champagne I can find. And I'm going to be singing na 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 all day. Na 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 na
Well,
na na. Na.
I think you nailed it. That if you think of the vision and the movement back then, it was more about equality and gaining things, and that transformed completely into the only lives that matter are Black lives, where there was a big movement that they hated anyone that would say all lives matter, right? They're
Yeah.
like, don't say that, don't say that. That's oppressive. That's that's not right. And you see movements that are, if you look at what Obama's accomplished, and attacking U.S. citizens without any type of due process. Here recently, he just signed away at midnight the right for other agencies to grab NSA data without really any type of warrant. So if you look at the breakdown of our individual liberties and then you mirror that to what the vision was, it's like completely just lost. There's the whole narrative has changed quite a bit, and I really think MLK would be rolling in his grave right now what Obama has done to our nation.
Absolutely. I mean, this guy's coming in with the whole hope and change. He just kept repeating hope and change, and it was a psychological maneuver. I mean, you repeat hope and change enough in enough rallies, whatever that hope and change is, and what it means to an individual. What they would do is they would simply just project onto them whatever their hope or whatever their change that they wanted. Like the woman who, on the day of his inauguration, um, like the woman who was crying in the middle, oh, I don't have to worry about my mortgage. I don't got to worry about putting gas in my car. I'm like, yeah, you're right. you know, and I'm like, you're right because you're not gonna have a home to live in. You ain't gotta have a car to drive. So you're gonna be like the people of Venezuela. We ain't gotta worry about toilet paper because we ain't got no food. Exactly. You ain't got no food. So now you ain't gotta worry about no toilet paper. Goes hand in hand. No house, no car, no food, no toilet paper. Jeez, man, unreal. But
Yeah,
he
yeah.
he
So anyway,
is. He goes down as another victim of this paradigm shift Obama's DOA in 2017, alongside with everybody else that we're going to be talking about today, CJ.
Yeah, absolutely. Times are changing, and it's out with the old and in with the new. And there's some pretty significant paradigm shifts that are occurring. I'm not sure over the weekend you saw it where Trump had did a couple of interviews with some foreign press, and in those interviews, he did one with the London Sunday's Times, as well as the Germany Bild, where he actively had just called basically NATO obsolete. And we just covered on Friday how NATO is putting troops in Poland and everything they're doing there. So basically calling out, saying, NATO is pretty much obsolete. Its design mechanism has failed. If you not only that, you pair that with with the whole EU. He pretty much said, the EU is pretty much non-existent anymore. It's pretty much Germany, and that's it. You have a lot of other, nationalism movement that's occurring, and Trump, applauded the whole Brexit, movement, and hoping that the other EU nations would do the same thing. EU countries would do the same thing. V.
Absolutely, man. I mean, he hits it. He nails it right on the head. And the EU is pretty much Germany. It's pretty much. I mean, what is left? It's France and Germany. France is about to fall into the hands of the nationalists at any moment. Italy's done; they're out. What is the EU? It's EU. It's basically Germany. Sweden, Austria, and it's all being bullied by a bunch of nitwits in a tower, in Belgium, in Brussels, Belgium. That's what the EU is. It's a joke. And when Italy leaves, and then when the EU party falls apart in France, what's left with these guys, man? Absolutely nothing. And then the whole thing. He's right. I mean, NATO is obsolete, bro.
Yeah, I mean they haven't aligned to really accomplish anything, which is mostly U.S. backed, right? So this whole alliance is supposed to be based upon a lot of nations coming together. Is pretty much just the United States dictating the whole policy and what they're advocating for, which is completely aligned with the globalists and the the one world agenda, trying to push us closer to that. So what I liked in these interviews is that he pretty much kind of confirmed some of the same things, what he had kind of reiterated as far as, hey, you know what, probably one of the largest mistakes in history was the Bush administration's decision to invade Iraq, which he has said that from day one. His plans to continue using social media, taking his message directly to the people versus having the MSM basically tell us what they want us to believe. And then also regarding the whole European, he pretty much called out the whole influx of the migrants, saying that was probably one of the largest mistakes, bringing in those 890,000 plus refugees, into Germany. It's pretty much kind of really changing the entire EU right now, and it's but just a big mistake on their part.
Yep, absolutely, man. It's a huge mistake on their part. And then I love the fact that the entire press is going to probably be booted out of the White House. Thank God. Good riddance. Because they're a fifth column, and he recognizes that, man. I mean, look at Brennan. Like when Trump said he's not going to stop tweeting, and then Brennan, who is an absolute pathological lying piece of crap. He's out there saying you should watch your communications. You see that?
I did see that. Yeah, it was almost kind of a threat. Watch what you put out on Twitter. Just unreal.
And
Yeah,
Brennan, I mean, look what he says. I don't think he has a full understanding of Russian capabilities and actions as they are taking on the world. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. Unbelievable, Brennan. Get the heck out of here. Good. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, you jackwad.
yeah, and they're still freaking out from from last week. They still have their panties in a wad a little bit regarding the whole thing with Trump calling out CNN. All of them, even Shepard Smith on Fox kind of came out to CNN's defense a little bit was like, we just don't think the Trump administration. No, stop it. Because other people in Fox were saying, well, wait a minute, let's think about this. For 8 years, Obama pretty much called out Fox News, right? Every opportunity that Obama had, he pretty much called out Fox News as critics, right? He did that consistently. So what's the difference? There isn't any. So, V, you there? I think your mic dropped for a minute, V. I'll send you a text real quick. So yeah, very interesting. Over the weekend came out, there was a leaked memo supposedly from Esquire talking about this whole change, if you will, in regards to Trump possibly kicking out the press corps. Well, in fact, it wasn't that. They're more or less, considering moving it from the West Wing into a larger area to account for more press to be there. So potentially inviting, the truth media, inviting bloggers, so that more people can have a presence there, which is the right thing to do. If you watch the MSM anyway, all you pretty much see is the same message over and over. They'll run with it. So Fox will tell you one thing that they want you to take away from those meetings, and then time after time, then CNN comes in and CNNBC. All they do is pretty much regurgitate the same thing over and over. So what's the purpose of doing that? Open it up, which I love the idea. Shoot, maybe V could even be in the press corps and be there to cover Trump. That'd be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? So the entire message that they put out that, he was going to, kick them, out, was just completely false. That was not true. I would definitely like to think that we could have an expansion of people. If you think about, who controlled the narrative and who won it this year for Trump, it was the alt media, if you will, the truth media, that was able to share information regarding, not only the whole Democratic Party pretty much robbing, winning the primary for Hillary, right? Think about, who covered that information. You didn't see that revealed anywhere. Think of the entire story regarding the leaked emails. The leaked emails that showed the whole, lining up with the whole debates, and the campaign being provided. CNN's, your cam's on, bro. Make sure you kill your cam before you jump in. Hang on, I can do it for you. So yeah, so if you think about that, it's just huge, right? So again, you there, Bree?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Okay, very good. All right, welcome back.
Hold on.
Okay. So yeah, so again, the whole narrative that they want to control is by not allowing a bigger group of journalists, of bloggers in there to cover the White House. And I think it's a great idea to expand it. Why only allow the MSM to go in there and pretty much, control the narrative, and then do their daily programming to those people, to the audience. I mean, we don't need that. We need to have a lot bigger audience, a lot bigger difference of opinions to cover the White House, and then also, more importantly, him to continue, utilizing Twitter to call people out. There's no better message than taking it directly to the people, V.
No, absolutely correct, man. I mean, the whole thing is this, bro. Him having access directly to the people. We know for so many decades there's been a circle jerk group between the White House media press, between the Congress, the congressmen, the mainstream media, the corporations. They've been running this wonderful circle jerk, group that's been, circle jerking each other for decades. It's been going on for decades. And then for Trump to not only say, this whole, cycle of nonsense is over, number one, but number two, him, utilizing social media. And then if they have this new network that's set up for alt media, which he's, planning on doing, he could take his message directly towards the American people. So all of a sudden, Paul Ryan, who's out there saying illegals can stay. Oh yeah? Well, Trump could now bring his message and what's really going on directly to the American people. He understands communication. See, people keep underestimating this guy, calling him an idiot, calling him dumb, calling him whatever. But they don't understand this guy's a communications genius. And you know, there's no they are not prepared for someone like him, CJ. None whatsoever, bro.
No, you're absolutely right. And if the MSM would have had their way, they would have Hillary sitting in there. You know, they're the ones that created all these fake polls that were telling every American that Hillary was winning by, 20%, that Trump had no chance of winning. And I think they're directly responsible for the people that are kind of lost right now, those never Trumpers that were fed this message for several months that there was no way that he was going to win. And then he does. They're still shell-shocked regarding that, and the MSM is responsible for that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back. Yep.
Okay, hold on.
I think your other connection came back as well.
Hold on, I have some technical issues this morning.
No worries. Yeah, I can hear you.
That's what I meant.
Light.
Yeah, you know what it is, man? I'm flying off my phone. I'm having some technical issues. I'm in a different part of the see you there?
There you go.
Okay,
yep,
cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm in a different part of the house. It's a whole, little technical stuff. But anyway, but yeah, bro, the mainstream media is completely dead. They're, dead on arrival. They've missed it. People don't get what's going on. I mean, yeah, the White House press box, man. I mean, here's an article from, The Guardian. Talk radio hosts and bloggers may be included in White House press briefings. That's excellent, man. That's excellent.
Absolutely.
Because that lends credence. I mean, look, here's the latest poll. The latest poll that came out, during the elections was that 96% of reporters donated to the Clinton Foundation. 96%. And here's the funny part. Speaking of the Clinton Foundation, did you hear about the layoffs that are occurring over there? They're starting to roll, bro.
The global initiative is dead.
They got it's a dust up. They understand party's over. I can picture it being absolutely, absolutely dead. Number one. Number two, I can picture them, turning on the shredders, and out in the back of the Clinton Foundation, they probably have like a 55-gallon oil drum where they're throwing documents into and so on.
That's happening, right?
Yeah. She's hired. She's probably went to Home Depot. Hired a bunch of illegals and got them to come over with some hammers and say, listen, we got about, 100 Blackberries and smartphones here. Here's a couple of hammers. Start breaking them. That's what's going on right now.
Absolutely. So again, the narrative has changed quite a bit. The whole Davos elite are pretty much kind of flipping out right now as they're meeting. They're lost. They don't know what's going on. Their heads are spinning. They're trying to figure things out, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So in terms of the Davos group, you have to remember that this is a meeting of pretty much the top 0.05% in the world, right? Come together to have this vision of they know what's wrong with the world. They're in touch with the middle class, and they know what to do. So they're sitting there, eating their $40 hot dogs while trying to struggle to figure out what just happened.
I mean, think about these losers, bro. Think about these losers where here they're sitting around, they're eating their $40 hot dog. Like, we don't get it. Why did we fail? These guys had an absolute boon on the entire world. They have the world by the balls, and all of a sudden it's gone. And these sycophants, heads of state, captains of industry, prominent academians, philanthropists, journalists, celebrities, they're all getting together, in Davos, and they're like sitting there licking each other's wounds, wondering what happened. You know, how can they, you know, get back to where they were? They don't get it. Okay? They don't get it. And, you know, last year at this time, CJ, last year they were talking about, you know, Trump had no chance. Okay?
Right.
And you know, they were talking about all their billions they're spending on other candidates like Hillary Clinton, right? They were going into all that. They were, you know, I think there was about 2,500 people that attended this year. All right, these guys were paying $50,000 per person to attend. Okay, so all these people are sitting there, they're just crying and they're shaking. It's like what my man Harley Schlang would say. These people are panicking. They will literally get into their offices in like these get-togethers such as this. They close the door and they sit there and they'll just basically freak out. They have like a whole freak out session, wondering what happened. This is what the point, guys. Again, if Trump was some controlled opposition, they wouldn't be doing that. You wouldn't have a meeting in Davos where the cheapest ticket is 50 grand, where they're eating $40 hot dogs. Okay, they're not eating Nathan's, man. They're eating some $40, God knows what kind of fufu, maybe some, you know, Wagyu beef or Kobe beef hot dogs from Japan. Who knows? And they're sitting there licking their wounds, wondering, what can they do to stop Trump? How did this all happen? And what they can do to bring back globalism Inc., which has exploded like an egg left in the microwave on their faces, CJ. CJ, did I lose you?
Absolutely, V. And when you dig a little bit deeper, you know, into the actual meeting, let's talk about some of these panels that they have. So one of the most prominent panels at the Davos is a panel called "Squeezed and Angry: How to Fix the Middle Class Crisis."
Yeah. Oh, sure. And these are the idiots who decided to, go for globalization. These are the morons who said to them, to all of us, that the way to fix the middle class is to outsource our jobs. And these guys are going to have an answer.
And so you're going to love this, V. So guess who are the experts on these panels that are talking about this? Ray Dalio, a billionaire who encouraged spying on his employees, and your favorite, V, Christine Lagarde.
Oh my God, that's great. That's great. That's good. So, let's not forget Larry Summers.
Yes. Right? Yes.
Larry Summers. Dalio's he's palatable. He's just a megalomaniac. He's somewhat palatable, Ray Dalio. Christine Lagarde, a convicted criminal and tax evader, head of an organization that takes from the poor and gives to world creditors. This woman runs the Vulture Fund, or the Vulture organization called the IMF. Okay? And then Larry Summers. He's a firm believer in wealth redistribution from the middle class to the wealthy. And these people are going to be talking about a panel called "Squeezed and Angry: How to Fix the Middle Class Crisis." How about you guys just both take cyanide and then walk off the edge of a very short plank? How about you guys do that? That's a great way to start fixing the middle class. And in fact, once you're doing that, tell your homeboy Obama to join you. And then all the elitists from the EU and the US could join you as well. That's how you fix. We fix the middle class. It's called 2016 election. That's how we fixed it.
Exactly, V. These folks, they're so disconnected, and if you go into some of their other forms and some of the things, they think the whole political system, is broken. Why are politics of fear, rebellion, or of the forgotten, tolerance at the tipping point, the post-EU era? I mean, these globalists, they live in their little bubbles. They're little bubbles of what they feel that the world should look like, what people should buy, what water they should drink, what food they should eat. They have no idea of what humanity is. They have no idea. And yeah, so this whole Davos group, this meeting is just, I just would love to hear them freaking out regarding the changes that are coming. That again, Davos, the G20, the IMF, their DOA in 2017, B.
Yeah, man, 1,000%. And the whole consensus, the entire Davos consensus could be summed up by this quote from one of their little circle jerking little sycophants. It says, "There's a consensus that something huge is going on, global, and in many respects unprecedented. But we don't know what the causes are or how to deal with it." Where? I love it, CJ. I absolutely love it. It's wonderful to see this kind of implosion. I love it.
Yeah, and you alluded to this just a moment ago, but you're absolutely right. So the Clinton Foundation has an extension or an arm of it called the Clinton Global Initiative, and for the most part, this is the group that was bringing in all the foreign money, right? This was the true pay-to-play, if you will, of the Clinton Foundation. Well, the Clinton Foundation filed paperwork. They are dissolving the Clinton Global Initiative, laying off all their employees, and they're running for the hills, V. And so so when you think about the Clinton Foundation, you think of the list of the wealthy donors and the foreign government contributors. They're the ones that probably funded most of her election cycle for 2016. And to this date, people still think that the whole Clinton Global Initiative, that they're questioning, do you really think that it was a pay to play? If you cannot see some of the transactions that occurred, the whole uranium sell to Russia.
Yep.
And the whole okay, Bill Clinton gets, $250,000, $500,000 speaking fee, and then right after that, Hillary's visiting that country, or she had just left that country. I mean, it's just so obvious. I think they're trying to dissolve it quick enough, trying to stay in front of things that are coming down the road as far as potential prosecution and so forth. But by all means, the whole global initiative was just a huge pay-to-play, scam that they were doing for several years.
Absolutely, man. The Clinton Foundation's downward trajectory ever since Hillary Clinton's election loss provides further testimony to claims that the organization was built on greed and the lust for power and wealth, not charity. I mean, there's not a single charitable thing that these vampires, this business duo of Bill Clinton, who I don't know which STD he's dying from, CJ. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out which STD Bill Clinton is dying from right now. If anybody out there knows, please let me know. And then Hillary Clinton. I don't think these two vampires have any inkling to help anybody. And we've seen them run roughshod in Haiti. We've seen them take billions of dollars. We've seen them, like you said, man, there's some underdealings that's going on with Colombia. Colombia needs to get something done. All of a sudden they make a donation to the Clinton Foundation. Hillary flies over there. She's having dinner. Her and Bill are happen to show up mysteriously at the same place. These people, look, Bill and Hillary are never seen together in their home in Chappaqua. Okay? For them to all of a sudden show up at the same time in the same place out of nowhere, and then they're having dinner with the very donor who just donated to their foundation, a charitable, giving. And then all of a sudden, the State Department pushes through whatever needs to be done, so some back-end deals. If that's not pay to play, if you don't pay attention to that, you're a bloody idiot. I think the greatest documentary done on this was called Clinton Cash. Okay? It's free on YouTube. Go watch it. Very well documented. If people haven't checked that out, CJ, I don't know what to tell them, bro. I mean, these libtards. This is what kills me about these SJW snowflakes and these libtards, bro. These libtards, they're weeping and crying. You stop Trump. Why? Because you're criminally insane, megalomaniac, convicted felon in my book, a convicted felon, an absolute criminal-minded individual, lost. Somebody who bragged about her that's going to win a primary that she herself has rigged and taken away from Bernie Sanders, and that's being leaked on WikiLeaks, and that does nothing for you SJWs? And you guys are weeping, you want to stop Trump. Like that idiot Rosie O'Donnell, we're going to declare martial law. How about you just get the F out of here? Oh, we're going to go to Canada. Why not Mexico? I mean, you guys are so, you guys are so tolerant and you're not racist. Why don't you go to Mexico? Why Canada? Why does everybody want to go to Canada? These loving liberals, CJ. I don't get it, bro.
No, and to think that whenever the Clintons pretty much, according to them, when they left the White House, they were broke, right? Because of all the
Oh
attorney fees
yeah.
that they had to have. And then here, less than 15, 16 years later, their like wealth is like in the billions, right? And you
Yep.
look at their daughter, okay, who really, yeah, she had got her degree and yeah, she came into school, but she really doesn't have any other type of life achievements. She's awarded a job, making $300,000 out of college.
600,000. 600,000. She works for the same firm that my cousin works for. Okay, my cousin, who is she's been there in McKenzie's forever, and McKenzie's is the creme de la creme firm. Anybody that knows about the big three would understand who McKenzie's is. McKenzie's, Deloitte and Touche. I got cousins in both Deloitte and McKenzie's. So McKenzie's the top-notch one. My cousin's been there for like forever. I mean, she is somebody who's busted her ass. Went after interview. I don't even know how many interviews she went with them. Climbed the ladders to a very, very successful position within the company. And all of a sudden, here comes Hillary Clinton. Chelsea Clinton, fresh out of college, and boom, $600,000 a year.
Crazy.
Unflippin' real, man.
$600,000 a year, a $1.2 million wedding, and a condo that is probably double that. I mean, that just
a $4 million condo in Manhattan. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And where did her parents get all that money from? It's pretty damn obvious. And she's married to a guy who's an idiot, a no talent hack, whose dad is a convicted felon.
Right. Yeah, I forgot about that angle.
Yeah. So what's going on, man? I mean, we got the stock market has blasted into outer space, as we've been talking about for a while, man.
Yeah, so it's interesting to take a look and obviously the market manipulation, but great article out. It's from Economica that kind of discusses, why the market blasted into outer space and will likely orbit the moon. So it kind of breaks down and it takes a look at, corporate profits and how corporations were able to do that. Now, granted, I know that you still see a lot, with retailers that are closing the doors, right? But a lot of it had to do with the fact that some of their taxes were lower, that they were able to drive a lot of these corporate profits. One of the second largest thing is the fact that the whole Obamacare that created a whole part-time economy. So a lot of these corporations, what did they do? They scaled back their labor force, entirely, and then they held the wage rate, pretty much the same. They weren't expanding wages like previously people used to get. You probably remember the days where people would go in for their annual reviews and get 3 to 5% pay increases, whatever. Now you take a look at what corporations do. They're giving like, okay, here's your 0.5% increase for this year. Here's your 1% increase.
Yep, exactly.
So, and again, a lot of the stocks that were triggered around this too just fell right back in line to a lot. And you've talked about this a lot as far as the stock buybacks, that what they were doing was using that increased, revenue money to actually, purchase their own stock, kind of driving that as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you got that, you got the margin debt is through the roof, where, these firms are buying, stocks on margin, taking on loans on margin to go ahead and buy these stocks. That's up like, I think 600%. Everything is all skewed. The PE ratio is through the roof. I mean, 16 is normal. 30, we're at a danger zone. I think we're like a 20 something right now. It's a bad mix of things, and yet the stock market is flying. So right now it's an absolute money machine. The fact that when you look at some of the charts, you really start looking down at it. Right? You look at the fact that you look at, like, for instance, like where the heck is that chart right here? It goes. You look at the corporate employees index, outstanding corporate debt, percent GDP. Oh, where the heck was it? I just had it in front of me. Okay, it's basically when you look at the fact that a lot of corporations, they shed a lot of full-time jobs. Now they're able to shed those full-time jobs, divvy it up until multiple, part-time workers. You're going to show a better profit. And that's what's going on. And number two, a lot of the stock buybacks that we're occurring on, like we talked about earlier, CJ. These are things, and then you combine all that wonderful mix, and you add in the high frequency trading, you add in the rigged markets, and it's off to the races, bro. Dow 29,000. I'm telling you right now, Friday. I wouldn't doubt that, either Friday or Monday, when Obama has left office. Okay, it's either going to happen either Friday or Monday. Dow's going to breach over 20,000, and it's not going to look back. CJ there? CJ? Oh, great. Did I lose you?
Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I thought I lost you for a second.
Yeah, Google's having a little bit of issues. Yeah, so and you nailed this, V. You called this out, several months ago in regards to, what's driving the markets right now. So when you look at, some of these charts, it's amazing to see just how much of that revenue that they utilized, the money went directly towards the stock buybacks, the dividends, the things that we're paying. And what suffered in that was, the expenses of research and development. Several of the companies kind of, saved some of that money, but at the same time, their debt is rising as well as a part of that, because again, they're utilizing that money to kind of prop their own stocks up. But yeah, I agree with you as far as the transition. Once the change happens, you already see a lot of companies that are, committing jobs. I'm not sure where you saw, B, but Amazon is stating over 100,000 new jobs over the next few years.
Yep.
So the tides are turning. Some good things are happening, V.
Absolutely, man. And I think also, now, Trump threatened BMW. BMW is going to build a plant in Mexico and then import the cars to the U.S. Trump's like, So BMW will probably be retooling their they have a plant in Spartanburg, South Carolina, which they make their X5s and their X3s. I think they're, and probably even their X1s. I'm not exactly sure. They're sport utilities. You could probably see an expansion of either that plant, or they'll probably start, producing a new plant. So it's interesting to see the entire global realignment, which again means more jobs for Americans, man. So it's more jobs coming our way, man. And Nissan is going to be under pressure because Toyota is going to they're going to absolutely capitulate to the pressure. They're going to cave in, and they're going to start expanding their operations here in the U.S. Nissan's going to be doing the same thing. Then you think Mazda is going to be on the block for that as well. So it's amazing what's happening in the entire sector, man. The entire global automotive sector. Hey, yeah, we want to build back in the U.S. again, and we're going to see a resurgence of American manufacturing, man. It's about time.
Yeah, absolutely. So where American Steel that has struggled the last several years, that they're calling some workers back. So that those are some great signs, and the final numbers are finally coming out. With the retail sales, and I think that you're going to see there, just some of the retailers that really struggle to remain vibrant, to compete, with online. I know that Macy's, the Gap, the Limited, which I think they operate under one umbrella, they're starting to scale back operations. But those businesses have been in place a long time, and they kind of really struggled to keep on the cutting edge of some of the other retailers that have kind of customized towards their consumer. So I think that, again, you're talking about, people scaling back a little bit as far as, disposable income on those types of things. But by all means, another great report, V, that came out was regarding, the China foreign investments hit a record high in 2016. And this comes to us from the BRICS post. And just amazing to think that China's foreign direct investments last year hit over $189 billion. And this overall was a rise of over 40 cents per dollar. And a lot of the money was going towards the EU. Chinese investors looking to pour funds towards acquiring advanced manufacturing equipment and technology. So the Chinese obviously are spending the money, and that's why it's so important that we become a part of that new Silk Road. That's why we need to get involved with it to open up all those future markets for American corporations.
Absolutely correct, man. And here's the point. China's doing so damn well throughout the whole entire the whole world over. And they're doing so damn well just because they don't have this retarded ass backward foreign policy that we've inherited from the British. These neocons and these neolibs has pushed us to the edge. We don't have this insane policy where we're running around the world blowing things up, setting things on fire, sabotaging whatnot. And we're seeing the last of the saboteurs, doing their thing before they leave office. I mean, London Paul said it best. I mean, the war is over. We have battles to be fought. The cabal, these globalists, these elitists, these quote unquote families, they're running for the hills. They're being neutralized. They're being absolutely neutralized. And if people haven't got a chance, go check out the Saturday interview that we posted with London Paul. The guy's a serious insider. So amazing interview. And again, this isn't an opportunity for American firms and American businesses and American corporations to go the world over and do what the Chinese did. They were winning the world without firing a single shot. We can do the same thing, but 10 times over. We're very innovative in getting things done. We can compete on a global level. It's time that we not only, remove the shackles of industry that's been, remove the shackles holding back much of our industry in this country, CJ, but also the education needed so that we can compete with India, we can compete with China, we can compete with Russia, because they're making higher quality education in terms of their sciences and their mathematics, their tech schools and all these other things. We've given that up. I mean, if we were to maintain the current trend of what was going on, so societally, if the libtards were left to their own devices, CJ, MIT would be, I think, the major course in MIT will no longer be science and engineering. It'll be like gender studies, bro. Okay, it would be like racial studies and gender studies and the type of stupidity that benefits nobody as a civilization. You want to empower people, you give them the tools to do it. You don't sit around talking about race all day. You don't sit around talking about gender all day. You go out and you give people the tools and you let them do it. And that's hopefully is going to be this new American Renaissance that Lyndon, LaRouche and Harley has been talking about forever.
Exactly. Yeah, and right along the lines as far as a future industry that has a lot of potential and growth, let's talk about cannabis for a minute. Cannabis was the big winner in the 2016 election with expanding, now 8 states with recreational use as well. A report that came out that estimates that by the year 2020, the U.S. cannabis industry will pump up to $44 billion annually into the country's economy.
How much? 44 billion?
44 billion, yeah, by 2020.
That's amazing. That's like 3 years away, CJ.
Yeah, and this just looks at everything ranging from the not only the recreational but the medicinal. There's a whole other aspect, I think, that needs to come to realization, and that's the textiles and the papers. Utilizing the cannabis for some of those as well. Rope, the hemp, being able to do that. So this market and the expansion of it, there's an organization, that at the American Legion that's been working specifically with the Trump administration going in, and they have a pretty huge movement. The American Legion, it's a big organization of veterans. They're actually calling for the full rescheduling of cannabis, and it's got a lot of momentum. So you imagine, this report just looks at the 8 states that are currently legalized. You imagine what that would be like if cannabis was rescheduled, and the realization that universities and farmers and everyone could start utilizing hemp, and that whole industry could be based here in the United States. That'd be huge.
Dude, it would be everything. It would be a massive renaissance, because hemp was one of the absolute cash crops in this country before the elitists said, "Hey, we don't need this here," and you know what? And we went away from that. It was a cash crop because it provided so much material. It's very cheap to cultivate. Doesn't require a lot of land and resources, and it's a major opportunity here, CJ. The other point is, Yeah, I mean, you got to look at it. 44. You have the potential in 3 years to become a $44 billion industry. Just to put that in perspective, okay, that's bigger than Hollywood. That's bigger than the video game industry. That's bigger than pornography. Those are three huge industries right here in the United States that are pretty massive. That are over $30 billion. $44 billion is huge. That's a huge industry, and it's only going to get bigger. And we're only in the infancy stages of this whole entire thing with hemp. And most people are just thinking about marijuana dispensaries so people can smoke. No, there's huge opportunities there with hemp fibers, with oils, with different products. There's huge opportunities here, CJ, and I'm excited to see how this again will be driving the new American Renaissance, bro.
Well, yes, and the figures are there. If you look at back in 2013, it was a total estimated of economic impact with cannabis was $6.4 billion. Okay, and now let's jump forward to 2016. The growth is already expanded to anywhere between 14 and 17 billion dollars. So the huge impact, and that's why they're projecting this by 2020. I think it's very interesting, B, for the fact that we're going to need industries like this to come alive to help us through the next stage of growth in America. And if we could embrace that and get rid of the paradigm, exactly what you said, that hemp at one time was one of the crops, I believe, that all farmers at one time were required to grow it because they utilized that to use for trade back then. So just again, I think it's a huge opportunity in the United States for this industry that would make a great economic impact.
Yeah, man. Well, without a doubt. I mean, it's truly remarkable to see that, and I think the potential for people, for enterprising individuals. Look, here's the deal: if you've been thinking about being an entrepreneur, now's the time. An entrepreneur. I mean, think of a way to empower yourself. Go out and make something out of yourself. Now's the time to do it. I mean, since 2001, CJ, we have been beaten down. Those who are entrepreneurs, those who are the creative individuals, those who want to create businesses, things of that sort, and have the opportunities. I mean, we were literally in a fight for our lives against government regulations, against all the taxes, against the choking burden it is to run a business. And now a whole new world has emerged. And if you are smart enough to see it, if you are able to be empowered, you guys can go out there and really do well for yourself in 2017. And I think, that should be everybody's, New Year's resolution, is to do better, not just make these wishes, but actually write down what it is you want to do and go forth and do it and get it done. That's it, man. I mean, that's what people need to be doing.
Amen on that. Yeah. And there's some pretty cool things, happening, not only as far as individual entrepreneurs, but also just some cutting edge technologies and some things that individuals are doing and creating. So yeah, I agree 100% with you, V.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's a big change, man. It's a big change, and there's a lot of things, that are opening up. A lot of things that are opening up.
Yeah. So, so again, a big week ahead of us. Definitely historical, to say the least. I can't understand. I'm not even going to try to understand it. But all these, Democratic, congressmen, senators that are refusing to attend the inauguration. They're still upset that they just need to get over it. I mean, just V, do you remember this back in 08 and 2012, whenever Obama was elected and reelected, all these amount of massive people that were, protesting and sitting out and
No,
just being complete whiners about it.
no, not even under George Bush II did you have congressmen sit out. Now you got that fat-faced pug, Joe Lewis, from Georgia, the fat-faced pug. The guy looks like a fat-faced pug. He's riding the laurels of civil rights. Oh, civil rights leader Joe Lewis, civil rights. Joe Lewis is part of a party that keeps the black community in a plantation and imprisoned. This guy is a Judas goat. And Joe Lewis, riding on his civil rights laurels, kind of like Al Sharpton and Jesse Hyde Jackson, okay, was out there saying, oh, I'm not going to be there. Are you even a legitimate president, Mr. Trump? Are you even legitimate? I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's so obvious you're going off a talking point because none of you are smart enough or creative enough in the Democratic Party to come out with something like that. You guys have all got the party memos, and you're all reading off the same script. All of them. Oh, is he even a legitimate president? Hell yeah, he's a legitimate president. Hell yeah, he won the Electoral College fair and square, and thank God for the Electoral College. You know, it's a whole new day. I can't wait. Again, CJ, I'm going to find the cheapest bottle of champagne. I'm going to be partying it off. I think we should do maybe like a mid-afternoon, you know, Rogue Money Radio special celebration of goodbye.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Barry Skidmark. You know, don't let the door hit you out. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na.
There's some theme music for it, right?
Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. Dude, I want you to pull that up. I don't care if you got to OBS it, bro, but pull that song up. Hopefully that, you know, YouTube don't flag us for like copyright or something like that, you know?
We may have to do our own edited version. Maybe we provide the lyrics fee. How's that?
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, you know the most amazing thing is things are about to change in a drastic way. And what I love is that Rogue Money, you know, the whole entire Rogue Media crew, you know, we're ready for it. You know, we'll be able to transition for it. I don't know about everybody else in alt media, you know, but the new media that's going to be emerged is we're ready for it. And we're the new media. Alt media guys that are still, you know, putting out the fear porn, still putting out the clickbait, still, you know, wondering at any second martial law is going to kick off, the CIA is going to assassinate Trump. I mean, look, man, I mean, people were sending me stupid headlines like, well, V, what do you think about this? It says right here, and here's the headline: CIA is going to assassinate Trump, and then they're going to invade Russia. It's horse shit. Okay, I've said this so many times. There's stupid, there's really stupid, and then there's invading Russia.
Exactly. You know, and the thing too is that, you know, from our listeners and the comments. Now, of course, there's one or two that are negative, but there's always going to be that, regardless of what type of media outlet you are. But I truly get inspired from our listeners that leave the comments that, you know, that thank us for having a lot more positive, for inspiring them. You know, I hear so many of those comments, and that's very uplifting. It makes the world of difference. So to our listeners, thank you guys for leaving those great comments, you know, regarding, you know, great show. You know, go back to the last 2 or 3 shows and you see some people leaving some pretty heartfelt message. I think there was one out there that, you know, one girl was listening to the interview with London Paul, and she said that, you know, halfway through the interview, she had to pause it because she started breaking down a little bit, you know, just got a little bit emotional around the change that is occurring, the change in vibration that a lot of people are reaching a new level of consciousness. So it's very exciting.
Absolutely, man. I'm totally excited about it. And it you know, if you can't sense the change, then there's something wrong with you. If you can't feel the darkness dissipating, there's something wrong with you. You need to reevaluate your life. You need to reevaluate your thought processes. Maybe you know, you got to reevaluate the fact that, hey, why people don't like hanging around you. You know, you got to reevaluate the fact that maybe, you know, there's something up with you that, you know, during Thanksgiving your family don't want to talk to you. You need to reevaluate that because there's so many opportunities. Go forth and be epic. Make a killing this year. You know, make a killing, you know, in the markets. Make a killing in business. Make a killing in your own personal development. Whatever it is the heck that you do, make a killing because the opportunities are grand and they are broad. If you have the eyes to look for it and you have the courage to work for it, it's there for you to take, man. It's there for you to take. And with the advent of the internet, I mean, you could do anything. Go start a YouTube channel. You know, go start a blog. Go do something. Learn how things work. Try a new business. Do whatever it takes. You know, go back to school. I know so many people that are going back to school this year. You know, starting a new career, you know, or a new career path. I've talked to entrepreneurs and business owners who, you know, they failed in business last year. And you know, I tell them, start a new one. Start a new one. Get creative. Well, I don't know what to do. Figure it out, man. Figure it out. Because there's a whole heap of money that's about. I mean, look. I mean, we're highlighting the cannabis industry for how many months now, CJ? You know?
Yeah. Very well said, V. Very well said.
Absolutely. And with that, man, I think we've come to the end of the show. CJ, give out your shout outs, man.
Yeah, thank you everyone for being here. Make sure to check out roguemoney.net. Don't forget, it's coming up here fairly quickly, but if any of our listeners are thinking about Anarchapulco, there's a link on the roguemoney.net page. Click on that link, and at the checkout, enter Rogue, and it'll get you a 10% discount. So I think they just announced some pretty big new headliners and everything for Anarchapulco. So it looks like it's really shaping up to be another great event.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And guys, if you, again, check us out on roguemoney.net. Follow us on Twitter at The Rogue Money and The Rogue Money Facebook. And I'm excited because I think next week we're going to be on a completely new platform. I'm excited about that. So it's going to be very, very awesome. With that being also said, guys, again, if you're, if you need a better credit score, if you're suffering from debt, you got collectors calling you, you need to have the reset button hit. See my guys over at myfreedomnow.us and book a call with yours truly. With that being said, this is V, the Grill Economist, and the denizen of the deep, CJ, the man, the myth, the legend. Take it away, buddy. We're out.